Hi guys, welcome back to the Funky Evolution Party. I hope by now you're starting to love evolution and realize that actually these very small changes that we need to make as individuals are actually not that scary or difficult and can be quite a lot of fun. Today I thought I would cover visualization and imagination so we can start to imagine a nation that is no longer being controlled, oppressed, torn apart, fighting each other all the time. Because if we used our imagination as much to, progress as we did to kill each other, as civilization, we'd possibly be flying by now. So it's very important to look at where we're using our imagination and how we can start to turn those tides in our favor. At the minute, we think that we lack imagination, and I'm going to tell you, I wasn't born with imagination. I had to work on it, and I was also forced a bit by not having the financial resources to just buy whatever I wanted. I had to be creative. Now, personally, I build everything in my head before I take it out there, and before I carry on. Something that has been going on in my head is that plastic bottle challenge. Imagine the next protest, i.e., rather than everyone getting arrested, we can still play by the rules, get into groups of 6, stand however many meters apart, make our plastic bottles, but then line them up to say love evolution or for whatever reason, so we can actually create massive structures out of something practical. Now, that would mean that we're not actually breaking the law in one area, but we're actually making a point that we can leave behind, which is what we want. This is our point. When I go, my point stays here. So just to give, plant some seeds for you guys in that area. But right now, I'm actually going to talk about how we can start to use the tools and resources around us to build that visual intelligence that we all have, but it's just been taken away from us because it hasn't been taught to us correctly. Or if you were naturally good at it, it's something you followed. If you weren't, you were put in a box and alienated and told you're a shit artist. Okay, sure, fine. But I can guarantee you, when I moved in 4 years ago, there was one plant on that terrace, and now from structures to this shed that was full of rubbish that I've gutted, and I was like, I've got old duvets, I'll put them there, and it's all from recycling and using what we already have to build new things and actually unite us rather than keep us divided. Now, again, going back pre-television and pre-movies, our only forms of imagination was through books, through storytelling, through sitting and watching nature and all of those sorts of things. All of us are very, very lucky right now because we have so many movies, from everything from sci-fi to this to that to whatever you want to imagine. You just need to turn on the TV. Now, it can go two ways. That's potentially why there is so much crime, murder, all of that sort of thing. On this side, what are we feeding our brains, and then how are we putting that and projecting that onto everybody else? Again, if we used our imaginations rather than to kill each other and used our imagination to help one another, society would actually have progressed a lot further than it is today. However, we are now at that point in human history where collectively, again, the saying I like to say is, I might want to build a house, but I've only got screws. Someone else has the wood, someone else has the power drill, someone else has this. And by coming together with all our different resources, we can actually rebuild what we want. It's like, does oppression make you feel good? Or does it make you feel like that? Are you scared? Are you like, Or is using our creative powers is what makes our heart center? And therefore, we start to become stronger. And then by thinking locally and acting globally, we can start to get some good practice guides together using our imaginations to start, it's like, okay, this worked really well here. Guys, work this one out on your next set of things to do. You know, there are so many forms of visualization out there. From, do I want to go to a tropical island today? I'm just going to Google, you know, the Maldives or somewhere nice and warm, and spend my mind there for a change. You know, we are so lucky. Again, I keep telling you how lucky you are, because if you knew the oppression throughout the ages, we're at that point now where it's up to us to stand up and say no more. We're not doing this anymore. We have the power, and that we have the intelligence. And this is where I want you really to understand that by using our collective intelligence and creativity, we will progress so much further than just passing that responsibility onto the powers that be, that actually they lack a lot of imagination. They're still playing games with each other. It's like someone just recently got shot, and that's going to create. Now, why should I or you or the person whose home is potentially going to get, shouldn't that person, like anybody else who commits a crime, be tried and tested? And then we need to start thinking a little bit more sensibly about what we're fighting for, who we're fighting for, and how we are actually going to bring these preferences together and create something that is going to last a lot longer than, I don't know, oppression has been around for a long time, but I really do believe that there is enough good people out there with top imaginations who watch enough movies, films, books, and everything else to start exercising this muscle that we have and bring things to the table. Now, again, I would like to pose that pro-testing idea and look at how we can get into our social distancing groups, but create structures that are just like mind-blowing. And again, we might not agree with each other, but we can just shut up and get on with it. And that is the point, is that united we stand, divided we fall. There is enough common ground between us for us to start growing as a societies, and we don't need to keep wasting our imagination on how we're going to fight each other, because it's a waste of time and it's a waste of imagination. And you know, I want you all just to take 1 minute to sit back and think, what would life be like if I wasn't oppressed, if I wasn't alienated, if I wasn't put in a box and then jammed in that box? There is a lot we can do, and by using the alienation and our imaginations, we can actually come together and globally have a lot of fun. So please like, share, get the message out there, and any questions, comments, please leave them below. Cheers.